That's right, guys. All you have to do to stop TikTok ads from playing forever is...
Johnny, yes, Papa. Take a spin, now you're in with the techno set. You're going surfing on the internet.
Hello, my fellow internet explorers. My name is Mason, and welcome back to the World Wide Web. Today on our online adventures... Today I can't even finish my intro correctly because I am so irrationally excited for what we're going to talk about today. I cannot wait to film this video. So as most of you probably know already, there's been one particular app that's been taking over the world recently, and that app is called TikTok. Now, if you've never heard of TikTok, that would be a little surprising, but just in case you haven't, it's an app where users can share short little videos of themselves set to music or other soundtracks that they can post for the whole world to see. Despite TikTok's massive popularity though, it's gotten a lot of backlash recently for something I'm sure most of you are familiar with, which is their very aggressive ad campaign, which has left a lot of people wondering why on earth is every single YouTube ad I see an ad for TikTok? And I myself was very confused by this. As an avid YouTube viewer, I was curious as to why I was getting the same ads over and over and over again, and curious as to where this app TikTok even came from. So I did a little bit of research and found a ton of information on why TikTok is marketing their app so heavily right now and what their long-term goals might be to grow the application. And that information is what I'm about to share with you right now. So TikTok was launched in September of 2016 under the Chinese name Douyin, and it was later introduced to overseas markets under the name TikTok. It was launched by a company called ByteDance, which was founded in 2012 and is responsible for 3 other major social media applications. Although largely unknown to Western markets, ByteDance is one of the largest startups in the world right now. Although it's private, it was recently valued at over $75 billion. And to give you a bit of a reference for that, Uber is valued at $75 billion right now. So this startup is about the same size as Uber, which means it's about 1/10 the size of Apple and Amazon. Although it was not originally backed by major investors, ByteDance's success can largely be attributed to its cutting-edge artificial intelligence technology, which it uses in all of its apps to help customize the apps to the users and help them grow internationally. So after TikTok was founded, its popularity quickly skyrocketed in China and across the world.
TikTok is getting massive global traction. In the first half of this year, it was the #1 download in the App Store worldwide, beating out other behemoths like YouTube, WhatsApp, Instagram, and Facebook.
But ByteDance wanted to grow TikTok even further, and looking around, it found that Musical.ly was a very compatible app to the long-term goals of ByteDance. And so, in September of 2017, ByteDance actually purchased Musical.ly for $1 billion to merge it eventually with TikTok to create a super app. So ByteDance kept its purchase separate from TikTok for a while, but in August of 2018, the two merged together under the name TikTok, which means Musical.ly is no longer existing under its previous name. And that's essentially where we stand today, with TikTok's popularity still going off the charts and Musical.ly nowhere to be found. But alongside its own popularity as a social media mogul, TikTok also became very popular for the wrong reasons when its advertising campaign started to get really out of hand. And I mean, people were complaining that every single ad they watched on YouTube, Facebook, and other sites were just being dominated by TikTok over and over again.
These freaking ads, like, they bombarded throughout the whole of Facebook.
It's getting to the point where every time I freaking get done with using Snapchat, I at least have seen 10 TikTok ads.
And that's what I want to talk about today. But first, I think it's really important to give kind of a general overview of how advertising on social media works so you can better understand the strategies that TikTok individually is employing to make sure that its app continues to grow. So basically what companies do to advertise on social media platforms is, along with creating an ad campaign, of course, to post on the site, they also set a budget of how much they're willing to spend on advertisements on that site. The social media platform and the company then set a rate on how much the company should be spending every time one of their ads is run. So for example, every time someone clicks on a YouTube video, how much does that company have to pay the social media platform for their ad to be run on that video? Once that rate is determined, then that is factored into the budget to determine just how much that company is going to be spending for all their ads to be run. The ad campaigns are then delivered to the social media platform and they are disseminated across the platform. This is done using very similar machine learning algorithms to the ones that are used to tailor content to you on your Instagram Explore page. So if you see things that you've just shopped for on Amazon or you've looked at on Instagram and you see them pop up on your Instagram Explore page, that's a very similar algorithm to what they're using to show ads to you from those companies. So once the advertising campaign ends, then the social media platform tallies up how many times those ads were played on their platform, and then they charge the company per click. So you might be wondering, Mason, if we've seen these TikTok ads so many times, how on earth do they have enough money to pay for all those ads? And that would be a great question because that's exactly what I was curious about when I was doing this research in the first place. What makes this even crazier is that TikTok itself doesn't even run ads. Their platform is currently ad-free entirely, so they're not generating revenue from running ads before your TikToks play. So we can gain a little bit of insight into this through TikTok's head of global marketing, Stefan Heinrich. In an interview with Digiday, he did refuse to give an estimate on how much exactly TikTok actually spends on advertising, but what he did tell us is that TikTok likes to focus on short and high intensity, high impact advertising campaigns. To quote him exactly, he said, "I focus campaigns on short term rather than blowing them up too much. It's sparking a conversation, but not letting it drag on too long." And this is not necessarily unusual for social media platforms to do, but where TikTok differs from everybody else is in their use of user-generated content for their ad campaign. In the official terms of service for TikTok, they say, "You acknowledge and agree that we may generate revenues, increase goodwill, or otherwise increase our value from your use of the services, including by way of example and not limitation, through the sale of advertising, sponsorships, promotions, usage data, and gifts defined below. You will have no right to share in any such revenue, goodwill, or value whatsoever." So basically what they're saying here is when you sign up for an account with TikTok, you're basically agreeing to let them use your content however they want, in ads, in promotional materials, in anything, and you get $0 from it. You don't make any money. And this in itself is also not necessarily unusual. I know the Instagram terms of service has the exact same thing, but what is unusual is how heavily and how crazily that TikTok abuses this part of their terms of service in using user-generated content for their advertisements. It's unclear exactly how they choose the TikToks to run in their ads, but it's assumed that it's some sort of machine learning algorithm because some of the TikToks that they choose to feature are very unbecoming of advertisements for the brand. So with all this background out of the way, I've come up with about 3 theories as to why TikTok could be advertising so heavily on all these social media platforms and why your ads could be inundated with TikTok ads. Number 1, as I said earlier, TikTok is owned by ByteDance, a company that is worth $75 billion, the same amount as Uber. So it's safe to say that they have probably a large budget when it comes to things like advertising, marketing, and anything else that relates to the promotion of their apps. With that being said, it's very possible that they could have agreed to extremely high per-click ad rates with YouTube and Facebook, meaning every time that you see an ad, they're paying YouTube and Facebook way more money than lots of other companies are. So naturally, YouTube and Facebook would be very much inclined to run as many ads as possible because they generate as much money as possible from TikTok's extremely high budget when they run those ads. But how does this benefit TikTok, you might ask? And that's a great question. How it might benefit them is their future plans. They could be planning to add advertisements into the application in the future. So what they would want to do would be to build up the brand as much as possible before they add the advertisements in, so their user base is already extremely high and they make a lot of money by running ads on the app. Another possibility is they want to take TikTok public in the future, and they would do that by encouraging lots of users to come into the platform through their ads. So they would have a very intense ad campaign in order to get lots of people onto the app before they go public. A second possibility is that TikTok may have future partnerships with companies like YouTube, Facebook, and other websites just around the corner. So those websites would want to heavily promote TikTok through their advertisements so they can make their partnerships somewhat public before the actual partnership is announced. And that would benefit TikTok because they'd be getting free promotion from these giant companies, and would benefit the other companies because they would be essentially establishing their relationship with the brand before anyone else can do it. And the third possibility is that they want to attract companies who would be likely to partner with TikTok in the future. They've already had extremely high profile partnerships with Jimmy Fallon, with Guess Jeans, with other companies where they've run very strong advertising campaigns on TikTok, which would encourage TikTok to want to make the app more well-known so that even more companies start cycling through and wanting to pay TikTok for their advertising services. So although any one of these theories are very likely, the reality of the situation is we really don't know why TikTok is advertising so heavily on all these sites. Through the interview with their head of global marketing, he made it very clear that TikTok does not want to be publicizing what they plan to do with the app. They would rather keep it very private, very shut-lipped, in order to keep their future plans from their competition. And honestly, this makes sense. They don't want to give a competitive advantage to anyone who could potentially copy their strategies, because they're so unique and so new that if they prove to be profitable, other companies would likely swoop in and want to take them. What we definitely can expect though are some big moves on the horizon from TikTok. They're definitely setting themselves up for something with this giant ad campaign, and although we don't know exactly what they're setting themselves up for, it's sure to be big and it's sure to be coming in the very near future. So my best advice would be to just sit tight, because as annoying as these ads may be, which they most definitely are, they're also signaling that something big is on the horizon, and you might be surprised at just what it is. So guys, that's gonna do it for today's video. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to join the Internet Explorer family, please click subscribe down below. I wish you the best of luck on all your internet adventures, and until next time, peace out.